Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of DETAUX, Designers Talk UX. So Samuel Smile once said, "He who never made a mistake never made a discovery." Today we have Sagar with us, who studied electronics engineering, but he went on to discover his passion for design. And he's here to share his story with us. Hey Sagar, welcome to DETAUX. How are you doing?
I'm good. Thanks, Atul. How are you doing?
I'm great. How's Pune?
Yeah, Pune is a bit rainy today. That's good, actually.
Which is great. I think Bangalore and Pune are blessed.
Yeah, good weather.
Good weather. It's a blessing. Awesome. So, Sagar, we got to know about your story, how you moved from electronics engineering to now a UX design. Right. So we wanted to know about you and your story a little more. I wanted to share it with our viewers as well. So please go ahead and share your story.
Yeah. Thanks for giving this opportunity. I'm actually happy to share my story because I think that can encourage many aspiring designers to follow their journey, and they can learn few things from that, or they can follow something. Yeah.
That's
so. About my journey when I started. So I'm from Ahmednagar, and I had done my schooling in a very rural area, which is called Pathardi. So after like 10th and 12th, there are like very few options that we knew at that time, like either engineering or doctor. Those are the career options that we had after 12th, and we are like unaware of a BDES. Is there like a course like BDES or something where you can get into design and take design as your career path? So I got into engineering, electronics and communication. That wasn't that bad. So I was enjoying my engineering, and within engineering, like by doing that, I was part of all the design committees in the college. So whether it be stage design committee or art and craft committee, all these things. So in final year, I got into a magazine committee where I was designing a college magazine, the layouts and all. So I didn't know at that time there is a career in design, and I got to know from one of my senior that there are exams like SEED where you can actually apply for the top design colleges in India. So like NIT have their own exam, IITs have SEED, and they provide masters in design. So there are a few colleges like IDC which provide masters in multiple streams. There are colleges like IIT Guwahati, IIT Delhi. Those provide very good design courses. So which is a master's course, 2 years complete design program. So I got to know it from him, and he actually got into NID. So he was from mechanical and very enthusiastic about the motor vehicle design, all these things. So he got into NID and followed that. After engineering, I actually took a break to like follow this design thing. I went to Hyderabad to prepare. Actually, I was preparing for GATE, but simultaneously I was preparing for SEED also. So after like preparing for 6 to 7 months, I appeared for SEED, and surprisingly, I got a good rank. That was basically because of my habit of observing things. So all the questions that I saw was like based on the observation and how you carefully see and look around you, and that's the basic of design, I think. So it was easy for me to answer those questions, and I'm a visual thinker, so I look at the problems and imagine their solutions visually more often. And that skill is really appreciated in the exams like SEED and NID entrance examination. You have to like draw, sketch few things. It's not about how good you sketch, like how perfectly you sketch. They'll anyway teach you in the first year, but how you can think visually and how you can present your ideas. That's all about it. So I got a surprisingly good rank into that, and I was unaware about anything in the design degree, like courses, what is their curriculum, how their process of admission works. Basically, it's not like after SEED you get into the colleges. So there are multiple rounds in between. When I first visited IDC, IIT Bombay, I still remember there are a lot of students who came there to have the second round, which is like actual interviews, face-to-face interviews with the faculties, and you have to show your portfolio. So I managed to compile something as my design work for my portfolio. It was nothing but my few sketches that I was doing sketches like since childhood. So I compiled few good sketches, few photographs that I clicked, which I thought is a good photography. So I combined all that work, and along with that, I took my engineering projects also in the portfolio. So within that projects, I was thoughtful about the users, how they. This is an engineering project, but I was thoughtful about the users, how users are going to use that uh, in that stage. And I didn't even knew that this is a user experience design. So when I explained that, so that was the key point in that interview, I would say. And then I got to know about how design actually works in the industry. I talked with the seniors and what is the role of UX designers specifically. I got into interaction design, so I talked with the interaction design seniors, and I tried to understand what UX designers specifically like doing, what is their day-to-day work looks like in the industry and all. So I found it very interesting that we are making things easy. That's something I was always passionate about, making things easy. I really don't like complex things. So anything which is hard to use, I like quickly drop it and switch to some alternative. So that's my passion. You can say was my passion, knowingly, unknowingly, making things easy. So I did that. The 2 years of masters were like very informative. I got to know a lot of things about design. It's not just sketching, or it's not just like basically making things beautiful. What is the common understanding about design? So we do make things beautiful. Of course, we are designers, but there is a more to that. So we make things simple, easy to use, and we make technology accessible to everyone. That's the key point, basically. The technology is growing at very high speed, and humanizing that is really important. And that's what UX designers, or any industrial designer for that matter, is doing from their end. And because of them, I think it is very easy to use the gadgets. Like anyone can do it today. Like even the
kids are doing that nowadays.
Kids are doing like that. Like 1 year, 2 years kids, they are like searching videos on YouTube and they're browsing. So it's very good to see like how intuitive it is. You don't have to think, you don't have to read, but you can handle YouTube, something like that. So that is something I aspire to, like making products as intuitive and as useful as these products, which are highly used. So after my masters, I got into TCS. There I learned about the complexities of enterprise design. That's a whole different domain. So I learned about the enterprise design, and along with that, I learned the things except design, what designers have to do. So in the industry, so there are a ton of things that designers have to do along with the design. And the most important part of that is, I think, evangelization. So we need to make people understand what designers do, what design can bring in terms of values to the business, and what are basically the benefits of including design thinking into the entire process. That is really important. So evangelization was one part, and I really enjoyed that part basically, and that's when I got into the mentoring also. So my first session was within TCS only, for the front-end developers and the managers, to tell them what is design thinking and how they can implement it in their day-to-day work. So how they can think it from the user's point of view and then design and deliver. Because still in India, I think the designers are outnumbered in the industry. We need a lot of designers basically, and every team cannot afford or cannot have a designer at this point of time. But eventually they will. Yeah. But for now, what we can tell them is to do is evangelization, like making them understand what is design thinking and how they can implement it. That can serve the purpose for now. and complete like doing having that experience. I currently switched to VMware, where I'm doing the same thing but in a much larger scale, I would say. uh,
Hmm.
so I'm till now I'm enjoying my design journey. It's like what I was looking for while I was doing engineering. Also, I didn't knew that what I want to do, but now I think that is this is something that I wanted to do for a long time. Basically, even when I didn't knew that the term is called as a design or UX design specifically.
Right.
Yeah.
What do you think in terms of design colleges right now as well? What is lacking, if there is anything? What is lacking in design colleges still?
Yeah. So the first thing that you mentioned about the small towns and problems with that is actually the exposure. If I knew at the time of 12th there is a BDS like course, I would have tried for that. But I came to know it after engineering. Fortunately, that worked in my way. I did my engineering and now I know the technology in a better way. Uh, but it uh, can happen or cannot happen with everyone, and everyone may not get a chance. I did my masters in 14-16, and nowadays there are a lot of opportunities compared to that time. You can get design education at any time, even if you are working, you have experience, or you are just a student and you want to switch your career from your whatever you're doing, like BA, architecture, whatever you're doing, you want to get into UI UX. You can do a course and you can learn from the experts in the industry, and you can get into that course. That wasn't available at that time, and that is something I think currently people should take an advantage of. And even if there is a boom in market of a UI UX term, still, as I said, there are very less designers in the industry.
Yes.
And within that also, people confuse graphic design with the UI UX design, and that's a big confusion in the industry. People actually are looking for a UI UX designer, not just graphics. We do make things beautiful, as I said, but there is a lot to it, and that a lot thing that is very important, like how to make it usable. That is very important, and that is being taught by very few institutes. That's
Right.
the problem I see currently. People teach Figma, other design tools. Previously, it was used to Photoshop, and everyone doing the Photoshop course and all. That is necessary. The tools are necessary, but that's not everything. That is just a 20% of it. Other 80%, and like design institute should focus on that, teaching on that thing, which is uh, you may call it a theory, but it is very practical when you implement it to make a product simple and useful.
Right. So there has to be a balance between, of course, aesthetics are important. Things should look good at the end of the day, but then it should be usable, it should be easy to use, and it should solve the user's problem at the end of the
Correct.
day, right? So, but then again, say, okay, even premier institutes like IIT and NID, right? There are good things and bad things about it. So if you have to think of three good things and three bad things, or things that premier institutes should improve upon, okay, then what would these be?
So the benefit of learning from premium institute is you get to know the core, and which is most of the time is stable. The core principles won't change. Like 2 plus 2 always will be 4, like something like that. So core principles you get to learn and implement those core principles, and with the help of that, you can build on top of that knowledge. That's really important. Learn from the prime institute or premier institutes like NIDs and IITs. The one thing that in masters I experienced that there is a lot to learn, and 2 years is a very less time to do that. Yes,
Right.
that was one of the problem. And the curriculums, when we are uh, like going through the basics or core of the field, we also have to explore the peripheries of it, like design for the modern technologies, what trends are going on. The design method is constantly evolving, like
Right.
something that goes with the agile, how we can work around it. We cannot like spend months on research currently because we have to get product out. So how to do a fast user research, and like failing fast and then improving, something like that. All those new techniques need to be acquired, that you can acquire on your own also afterwards. But if those are included, that will be a great thing for students, I would say.
So, one more thing is that you mentioned there are things that designers have to do which are not part of their job role, right? Or which they don't like doing, or which they've not been taught in the school. So, what were these things?
Yeah. So apart from design, the main part or main time you will be spending on um, people, like on them, trying to explain them what is design, what is design process, what you as a designer will be doing in the organization, in the entire project, what is your contribution, what value you can bring to that. And for that, I think doing is better than saying. You design one screen and show them to your stakeholders and how it works, the workflow of that, and you make it so simple that everybody will say that, okay, this is something we were actually looking for, and this is something you have created. So uh, for that, definitely you need to have a mastery over the prototyping tools. You can quickly sketch your ideas or do some prototyping and show it to them. That is really important. Along with that, you have to manage and communicate your design to the people. So I saw a few brilliant designers, but there is a gap in communicating those designs. That is really important for every designer. So you might design a very good product, but how you communicate to the non-designers is really important within organization. So can be multiple stakeholders, and there will be, of course, multiple stakeholders. There will be a project owner, managers, developers, testers, um, who may or may not understand the design language you are speaking, but they understand business, and you have to understand business to talk with them in their language. So if design is looking well, easy to use, if you are able to mention the business benefit of that, how much revenue or cost or time you are going to save with this design, that's really important. And when you bring that value to the table, your design will be appreciated. Along with that, your business sense will be also appreciated, that what value you're bringing to the business is really important. So ROI on design is proven to be more than 400%. So if you invest on design, you can get like 400%, more than 400% return, and that is proven. But as a designer, you need to explain that to your stakeholders.
Okay.
One thing
No,
that comes to my mind is, actually it's not that difficult. Like I may have sounded it difficult, but it's not that difficult. You just have to understand business, what value that product is bringing to the end users, and how that is going to reflect on business. So if some user is saving around, like, if there is a 5-minute task and you are bringing it to 1 minute, one user is saving 4 minutes. And if you compare with the number of users, like million users, the 4 million minutes that you are going to save for the organization. And that is something how you can calculate the impact of your design.
so why is it still that we defining design, or what do we do as UX designers, is so difficult? So can you elaborate on that?
Yeah.
I'm still figuring out.
The one thing we designers actually take for granted is imagination. Most of us are like very good in imagination. If I say something to you and explain a screen, you will be able to imagine that in your head, and you will be able to even put colors and interaction to that in your imagination. But that's not the case with everyone. We need to understand that. So we need to be visual in our deliverables, that we should not rely on the imagination of our stakeholders. We should show them like how this is how it is going to look at the end, and this is how it is going to behave. Both things will be should be there, how it looks and how it behaves. And that's why it becomes really important to make it something tangible and show it to your stakeholders, so that because when I tell a story, everybody is imagining a different character in their mind, right? So we want to bring them to the one page and one level. So that's why it is very important.
Any last words from you?
Um, in terms of like for the design aspirants, I would say there are a lot of opportunities today where you can learn design in a whole. Along with the visual, you can get to learn the UX also, core of the research, usability testing, all these things. You need to take advantage of these opportunities which are present in the market currently. Do your thorough research, of course. Select, make wise selection. You can get into UI UX at any point of your career. Even if you have worked for like 10-15 years, you can still switch to UI UX if you think that you have that spark out here, you have that design kida, you can say. You can get into a design field and you can rock it.
Right. So you've been a mentor with us as well. How has your experience been over there?
It was amazing, actually. I'm learning a lot from my students also. So the beauty of it is students are coming from multiple backgrounds. They have experience in testing, development, architecture, and whatnot. So they bring their perspective into the course, and as the course is designed to work around the problem solving, so it's not just like theory, it's an integration of what you learn and implementing it right there. That becomes very interesting, and the students come with like difficult doubts, like you have to think for that. So definitely, yeah, it's really interesting. And the course is designed in a way that it is very immersive. Students understand something and implement it right there in their portfolio, and it reflects. If you see the case studies that students provided to the jury, I'm really impressed with that. So someone who never used Figma can produce a very polished UI. Not just UI, they have all the deliverables from the user research like personas, affinities, and they're aware of the terms of the industry like heuristic evaluation, Gestalt principle, laws of UX. So it's very impactful. Basically, for mentor also, we get to learn a lot.
Thank you for being there, and thank you for your kind words as well. I hope we do more cohorts with you, and I hope you learn something or the other from the learners as well.
Of course.
Thank you so much. All right, we'll have you for more conversations, and thank you for your time. Thank you for coming in. So guys, that was it for today. We hope you liked the X to UX story. If you have any questions, drop it in the comment section down below. If you'd like to see more videos, please consider subscribing to the channel. Bye-bye and take care.